Oh, what's this? I didn't even pay attention. Yeah, take a peek.
Yeah. I'm gonna start in just usually I wait for people because usually they are late. So.
You have this class every Tuesday?
What's up?
You have this class how?
It's like every week. It's a different teacher every week.
Teach every week?
Yeah.
What's the Git class?
Not about only Git. Like today it's about Git, but sometimes it depends. Like mostly it's about Ruby and Rails. Next week I'm teaching again, but it's not about Git. It would be about the coding interview.
I'm taking HTML,
Yeah. So I mean, you can come often to our classes and like ask questions. And usually, let's say if they do some Git, I mean some Ruby and Rails, they will like manipulate Git for sure because usually they create a repo and like they do. I mean, they apply changes on it. So I think that would be a good exercise. Tonight it's not gonna be like for strictly beginners, but it's gonna be like for like let's say you have used it before, but I can try to.
No, I'm okay. I'm not going to overcrowd myself. I want to take C. I don't want to really concentrate.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but I mean, like, I'm like giving resources as well. I'm sharing resources in my my class tonight. So, like, for beginners and like for learning Git. So it's always useful to say, and usually my classes are like pretty interactive. So if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me and like ask me like I don't understand what's happening, and it's perfectly fine. Like for the advanced guys, like they have the slides, so they can learn like later.
So you want to go through like all the repository stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I can explain, and if you have any questions.
I haven't built anything.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Let me check. Where am I? Cool. Let me check. I'm sharing for people. Um, Okay. Cool. Got you. All right. Let me try to start. So, nice. It works. Cool. So my name is Adrian. I work as an Android engineer at Lyft. Started at Lyft like 3 months ago, and I was working for a dev shop before named Kaushik's, which actually created this school. So I was like working in a dev shop, mobile developer before, and so now I work for Lyft. And so welcome to Ray School first. Like, is that the first class for anyone first? First class? Wow, people. So gonna start this way. What's your name?
Jason Bowman.
Jason?
Alex.
Alex?
Aaron.
Aaron. Oh, you're the guy who emailed me? Okay, well, Aaron emailed me, but maybe it wasn't you. Okay.
I don't think it was me.
All right. So Rare School, you might know, it's like a non-profit organization. We're teaching every week. We have, for people who don't know, we have a website where you can like follow the different classes. You can sign up and you will receive like emails every week for the next class. I'm teaching this week. I'm also teaching next week because I'm replacing a coworker teacher. What I was saying before is like next week's gonna be about the coding interview and my past experience for coding interviews. So also thank you for Noisewing for hosting us. So what I was saying is like we're a non-profit organization. So if you want to do a donation, like please consider doing a donation to Noisebridge instead, because we don't really like will not do anything with the donations. Yeah. So tonight I'm gonna talk about. Oh, it's still open. It's not open anymore. I'm gonna talk about Git branching and like basically how to manage like a repository in a great way. By that I mean like from my past experience and especially the process I do, for example, at Lyft right now, like how you should like manage a repo and like what you should do, like when should you open the branches, what do you do when you have merge conflict and this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be the basic topic for tonight. So first, I want to know who doesn't know about Git. I think Jason said doesn't know anything about Git.
I haven't, I know a little bit. I got a repository. I've had a repository for 2 months, but I haven't built anything.
Okay.
I'm in boot camp for it, but I'm just using take this class, gym class on Monday night for 10 minutes, JavaScript.
Okay.
But they just want JavaScript, so I'm having to like.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't built anything. I'm just running by.
It's cool. It's cool. It's our classes are like usually for beginners. Sometimes I do like for advanced level. It depends. But I'm gonna share the slides at the end of the class, so you don't need to take any notes. And the class is also recorded, so you can watch me again and again if you feel like my delightful voice. And also, what I was saying before is like my class is usually pretty interactive, so feel free to interrupt me whenever, wherever. And doesn't. No, yes, it does. Also, and so you have like for people just starting Git, like I have a list of resources. There's one side with a list of links for learning Git and like how to manage like just like the basic commands and this kind of stuff. So that might be useful for ramping up quickly. There will be a slide with like different links and like tutorials and resources to learn Git very quickly.
Okay, well, can I get this?
Yeah, they will be like it's in freestyle, I guess, something like this. I will share the slides at the end. So they're like if you wait 5 minutes, you will see them. Cool. All right. So for tonight, I'm gonna start with a quick intro. For the people who are Git, we're gonna test. We're gonna do a trivia time, like funny question answers. Then I will talk about like the branching process I usually do, And then I will end by talking about rebasing and squashing. Maybe you've heard this term before for advanced levels. We're gonna talk about that tonight. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast? I think it's cool. Nice. All right. So a quick intro about Git, and it's nice. I don't have my notes, but that's awesome. Um, so it was created in like 2005 by Linus Torvalds. So for people who doesn't know him, it's like kind of big boss in computer science. Like created like the Linux kernel, and Linux kernel, for example, is used in like GNU, Android, and most recently the Chromebooks. So it's like a really big piece of software he built. So basically, before Git, you had like what we name sorry for that. The exact terminology is revision tool or something like that. Sorry, I don't remember the exact terminology for Git, but basically for managing like a code base and the history of a code base, you had different tools. For example, you used to have like SVN and Mercurial, which are not really used anymore these days because they were not what we named central server. So that was the kind of big revolution Git introduced. So before, if you were using like SVN or Mercurial, the problem is like, let's say you were working with like some fellows coders, and everyone had like a different version of the repo, and you needed like to either like, basically, let's say one of the coworkers is walking and commit some changes of the code base. If you wanted to get like his changes, you were either supposed to fetch like the data from his own laptop, or like sharing your changes every time you were committing changes, sharing them on like basically a machine that would be accessible all the time. Uh, Basically, it was a server. And so it was kind of annoying because it means like you get to first like ensure you're all like up to date with all your fellows. So it's like you're not fetching one source of data, you can fetch like multiple sources of data. So that was really kind of annoying, especially let's say the person who has like the latest changes doesn't have his laptop on or something like that. We cannot like initialize SSH connection to his laptop. That was really annoying. So Git changed this process by like having a central server. For example, you have like, you can set up your own, or the most popular solutions these days are like Azure GitHub, Bitbucket, and SourceForge for people who still use SourceForge. And basically, so you host your code base online, and you can reach it like at any time. Of course, if let's say you host on GitHub, like if there is at least one GitHub server online, but you will basically every time push you changes to this server, and like all your peers will pull from this server, pull the latest changes from on this server. Also, Git was built for supporting nonlinear workflow. What does that mean? So it's like basically you can have different, we name that branches. So it's like you have like what they usually name a master branch, which is like, let's say I build a mobile application. I work on the Android mobile application at Lyft. So the master would be the latest version of the application. It's like something stable, and we, for example, push it to production. Let's say I want to build a new feature. Usually what I do is like I create a branch, which is just like a new, I basically duplicate the current state of the application, but I'm like creating my own sandbox where I'm going to play and like implementing my new feature. And as soon as I'm ready, I'm confident my feature is ready to go on production, I will merge these changes into the master branch. So the exact terms are like I fork the master branch, and I do different changes, different steps of changes, which are commits in the Git terminology, and then I merge them into the master branch as soon as they are ready. And so by nonlinear workflow, it means like, let's say everyone in my team is doing the same process. So you have like different branches. Some of them are parallel. Some of them are like, far away in the history. You have like all these branches, and it's like different version of like the same application. they all share at one point a part of the tree. Like it's a tree basically. You get to imagine it's a tree. It's sometimes like the different branches are starting at different nodes, and they all end like with a leaf. And then you like as soon as you merge them, usually you delete the branch, and the branch doesn't exist anymore. So that's what they were intending to do when they were building Git, like supporting this kind of workflow to basically allow people to work in the same time on the same code base, and preventing merge conflicts. So if you want to check out the Git, it's actually open source. It's funny, like they use Git for versioning Git, which is pretty funny. So it's on the GitHub, and you can look at the report. You know what to do on weekends. So the tutorial I was talking about just before, so you have 3 of them, as should listed on this slide. And my favorite one is the learngitbranching.js.org. It's really nice because it teaches you from scratch to like advanced Git. So you will learn first to do a commit, or to add like different files, or to revert the commit, etc. Creating a new branch, merging the branch. And it's really awesome because it's all interactive. So you will see a tree, basically, so you can see what's happening. Because when you're doing some command lines, might be like kind of obscure what you're doing and not very clear. So this one is really cool. The one from GitHub is interactive as well, but I don't think you have a tree to visualize the changes you're doing. And it's also good to do the one from GitHub because it will like teach you how to like commit, like let's say a specific set of files and not committing all other files, this kind of stuff. Whereas the other one, learngitbranching.js.org, is more about like branching itself. Like you will not like commit any files. There is no file. It's just like a commit is just a new node in the tree. And of course, you can check out the official documentation. That's not my favorite one for learning Git. Favorite documentation is a first link, of course. Everything is okay for this introduction? Anything unclear? Cool. Awesome. So ready to go? So it's Linus, by the way. I don't know what conference he was for that, but pretty funny. Okay, so for advanced, and it's super cool because we're a beginner tonight, so you're trying to explain to him what you're trying to do with these command lines. So we're gonna start easily. So can you tell me what is this command doing?
What's your question?
Yeah.
What does this do?
Yeah.
To add any files that are not being tracked.
That's correct. So what does that mean? Is like, let's say you add new files to a repository using this command, you will add all of these untracked files. So you will like start tracking them. So until you start tracking them, you cannot save a history of this of the different changes you're gonna do on these files. That make sense? Okay.
What's the difference between this versus a small app?
That's a good question. I was wondering.
Or a dot, just a dot without the dash in.
The dot will be just like what's in the current repo, but will not go into the subfolders. It will add the subfolders if they are new, but let's say the subfolders have already been, like you have already files that have been started to be tracked. It will only add, like, let's say, on the first level in your repo. It will not go into the subfolders.
But it will update ones that are already being tracked, but not updated. It will update them. It will put them in the cache.
No. A Git addition is not creating any commit. It's just like you want to start tracking new files. It's like, let's say.
No, but if you already made a commit and you modify that files,
yeah,
those modified files will not be in the cache until you use git add.
If it's just an addition on the file and you have already start tracking this file, you don't need to do a git add. A git add is just only for new files. Just add it's like addition basically. It's for new files only. Yep.
What was the first part of what you said? I don't think it's right. What did you say?
like you were originally asking, if I'm correct, like the difference between git add dot and git add dash a.
Well, I thought I knew what git add dot does, but the capital A is a new one on me, but backtracking a little bit, git add puts things into what's going to be tracked, or what's going to be, it moves things from, into the cache, into the index, correct? That's what git add does.
Yeah, but if you, let's say you edit a file that you already do a comment on it, like it's already tracked, you don't need to git add again. Like add is like only for untracked files.
But if you have done a commit, so you got a fresh status, then you edit a file,
Yes.
you can't just do a commit. You have
Yeah, you get to track it first. That's correct.
Well, but it's already being tracked, but you have to move it into what's going to be committed. And you do that with git add.
No, it's not tracked yet. It will be tracked as soon as you run the git addition command. Like as soon as you run the git add, you will start tracking the file. The file is like, let's say you create like a new, like you have a repo with only a README, for example, and you create a new full.
No, that's when you create a brand new file since your last commit.
Yeah.
But what if you don't create a new file, but just modify a file that's already there?
Yeah.
Before you can commit it, you have to add it to the index.
No, it's optional. Like you can pass the file. You have it, like I'm going to show you that just actually after. It's like in the commit command.
Well, that's short circuiting. There's a commit options that all tracked files will automatically be added.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
So you have a file that you're tracking. You've done a commit. You've got a clean directory.
Okay.
You edit one of the files that you've already been tracking. Then you do git commit.
Yep.
If you do git status, it'll show you that you've got a file that's been modified.
That's correct.
And it's going to ask you to add it to the index before you do a commit.
Maybe it's WhatsApp. Okay, so I think we're talking about the same thing.
When you do a git commit, you probably add an extra option that does that.
Well, you don't actually add an option, but you pass the, like when I do a git commit, usually you have to, like, you will see two different git commits. You will see one with -a, which means like I want to commit all the different edit files.
Correct.
It's -a for L. Or you can pass like a list, like let's say I use -m for the commit message, then I can pass a list of different files I want to commit. And I think we're talking about the same thing. But you don't need the git add itself.
Well, git add would be another way of avoiding you have to use that option.
Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, to answer your question, it's like this. I can't remember. I think the lowercase a there is a difference, but I can't remember.
I think lowercase a won't add any files that have not been tracked. It will only do files that have changes but are already being tracked.
Okay.
If I recall.
Okay.
And I think the same thing can achieve if you just put it out.
That I don't know for sure.
It does for me. It's like only the repo. It won't go into the subrepo, the sub folder. Sorry.
Even if they're tracked files.
Uh,
I don't want to hold you up.
we can play after. Right? That's a good question. Just gonna. What's up? Okay, cool. Okay. So, well, we were talking about this one, so this one is clear for everyone now. So this one is like, I want to commit all the files with the message food. All right, so what about this one now? Any idea?
To check out the most recent.
Some of that. Like, if I wanted to check out the most recent, it will be only git checkout head without the symbol just after.
The parent.
Yeah, exactly.
The first parent.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just when you would like to move back into a specific commit, you have this shortcut where you use this symbol to just move like to the parent, the direct parent of the head. Then in the same logic, you have this one. And further to what I just explained, you might know what this one's doing. Yeah, so you move back to by free commits. So to explain to you, Jason, so what's happening is like, let's say you want head is like the latest change on the branch you are. So when you use the git checkout, it's for like, is there moving between branches or moving like into this branch, like moving back into the history to observe what was the previous state of your repository.
It's like using this in JavaScript.
Oh, say that again?
It's like using this in JavaScript. It goes back to like the previous three.
Yeah, yeah. What function in JavaScript do you say?
This.
No, it's not really. It's not. It's not really that. Don't try to compare to JavaScript. So just let's say, like you have the history, and you just want to, let's say you did like a change yesterday and a change today, and you would like to just just not revert, but you just want to see what it was looking yesterday. What was the state? Let's say it's a document.
You want to see after the change, before the change.
Yeah, exactly. You just want to observe what it was looking like before you did the change today. So you can do that for like all the history. You can browse the full history like that.
Also, the change doesn't affect the history. Okay.
Yeah. All right. This one, very simple.
Push to your origin or push back to master.
Yeah. So technically, what are you doing? So you push what?
Your local command.
Well, it's actually a little bit more complex than that. It's you push the local master branch, you pull the full branch on the origin, and then the origin will figure thanks to the
You're pushing it to the repository defined by the word origin.
Pardon me?
You're pushing it to the repository defined by the word origin.
Yeah. So first you specify like the origin. So like by default it's named origin, but you can define a custom one. You can add different like servers with different states of your application, and you push the master branch. So this is just for like sending your data to the remote server. And this one, a little bit tricky. No one is using this one, but it's possible technically in Git. If you do that with your coworker, they will hate you, but that's why no one is doing that. So basically this one is you push master on the origin, but you want to rename it foobar on master. So let's say here I use master, but whatever or like basically before the colon is the local name, after the colon it's the remote name.
So that'll create a new branch on the server.
Yeah, if it doesn't exist, of course, and it will be named foobar. So that can annoy a lot of people. All right, I was just for fun. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about like why you're here tonight about Git branching. So let's say, okay, so what I do usually is what I was talking about before. Is like every time I have a new feature, a fix, a refactor, enhancement to do on the code base, you always create a new branch. So of course you start with the latest version of master, and you create a new branch. So the process is like most startups over here is like you start a new branch, you do your changes, and as soon as you're done, let's say you use GitHub or whatever solution you're using, you open the pull request to submit your changes. So for maybe some of you, it's like pretty straightforward, but that's basically it. So you open the pull request, you submit it for code review. Don't merge your code on master if it hasn't been reviewed by someone else, like don't trust yourself, because you always like forget something, or you like, you know, you do too complex. It could be simple, and it's of course it depends where you work. Like if you work in a startup that hasn't, like, let's say, release a product yet, it doesn't really matter because you're not impacting anyone. But let's say you work on a website, it's not a big deal. Let's say it breaks the website for like a few seconds. I mean, it's always annoying, but a website is kind of cool. People can come back later. Let's say, for example, I work on mobile applications. If I break the mobile application, it's gonna be really bad because I cannot apply a hotfix. Let's say I work for the iOS application. If I want to publish a new version of the application, it usually takes 3 days because it got to be reviewed by Apple. For Google, it's like pretty straightforward. But if your application doesn't work, crash when it opens, they will like prevent you from publishing this application. So you get to be very sure about what you're doing, because let's say it says your website, or because let's say if you work in a company with an advanced stage, usually they have automatic tools to publish the latest master, like either the website or publish the latest application. And so, for example, as I work on a mobile application, what could be doing is like the user is installing the latest application for the first time, and the first use they do is like they open the application and crash. That would be a bad experience, and I potentially lose a customer because they will uninstall the application and will not install it again. It's pretty bad in terms of like user experience. But it's the same for a website. Let's say, you know, you go on your favorite website and it's done, or you go on this website. I mean, if you go on this website regularly, you're like, oh, you know, I'm just going on Facebook. Doesn't work right now. I can come back later. But let's say you go on, I don't know, new website for the first time and it like doesn't work, like you will not come back, or maybe like you will come back like in a few months. And sometimes, yeah, you know, code review is always good. And so, for example, our process in my company is like you cannot merge into master if no one has reviewed your code. Technically, you have one to press that, but if you do that and it breaks anything, you will be not fired, of course, but it will be really bad. Yeah. Any question about this process? So opening a new branch all the time, waiting for code review, and then do a code review and then merge. Okay, pretty straightforward. Cool. So now I'm gonna talk about rebasing. Have you heard about rebasing before?
I've heard the term, but haven't used it in practice.
Okay, cool.
I've been told never to do it.
Okay, so rebasing, it's basically, how can I say that? So let's say I just opened this pull request, and it was like a kind of like big pull request, like maybe with a bunch of files, and I'm waiting for the code review from my peer, and it takes some time, like maybe 2-3 days. And let's say you're a team of like 20 engineers, you might end up with a merge conflict. Like, you know, your coworker reviews it, and someone else is like edited the same file, and usually Git is pretty like defensive on that and doesn't want like to do like what he names like three-way merge. It will just ask you like to fix something. So sometimes like an easy fix is because someone else touched the same file by adding like, let's say, a function exactly at the same line where you put your own function, which is kind of like annoying, but cannot prevent that from happening. So usually to solve this merge conflict, you have multiple solutions. The most classic one is to merge the latest version of master into your branch. So it's like adding an extra commit, where usually you see like it's a merge commit and you fix the conflict. But usually, let's say it's a very like easy merge, like you know what's happening just because someone else touched a little bit of the file, but it's not impacting at all like what you wrote, and it's just like, yeah, fixing like, let's say, a couple of lines of code. So usually what I do for my part is like what we name rebasing. So rebasing is a very powerful tool, but it's actually kind of dangerous as well. So when you rebase, you rewrite history. By history, I mean the history of commits. But it's a really elegant way for something like minor, like merge conflict. But it's kind of dangerous. So what's happening in rebasing? It's like, let's say, so you have we said like you were working on your branch and you have a conflict because someone merged something on the latest master. So what you're gonna do is the rebase will reset like all your changes on the branch, will move the origin of your branch to the latest, like the head of master. So let's say you were over there in the tree and the head is over there. You will like, so let's say you have all your commits on the side. And so you reset, like rebase is gonna like put this commit somewhere, move the origin of your branch on the head, and start applying your commit that have been cached one per one. And as soon as there is a merge conflict, it will stop this process, ask you for fixing the merge conflict. Then you fix the conflict, and then as soon as you're done, you resume the process, and you keep like going this way until like there is no conflict anymore. But what happens under the hood is like actually the date, like the content of the commit might be changed because you're fixing some stuff. But so what's happening is like you don't add any extra commit, you're just editing previous commits. So that's why it's potentially dangerous, because you have no, like, if we look at it, the commit message will be the same, the content will be different, and also the date will be different. It's like the date will be updated after the head. It's like just basically you're simulating that you build this branch after the latest head, whereas you might have started this branch like 3 days ago. So that's what I mean when I'm saying that you write history. You just like you're rewriting history. So what's the term for that?
Are you rewriting the history of what you did, not?
No, not the format.
the
Yeah,
history
yeah,
of what
yeah,
other people-
yeah. So if you're alone on the branch, it's fine. It's only you impacted, so everything is cool. But that's why I said it's potentially dangerous, because let's say someone else forked your branch, so start with your branch as a base. It's gonna be super annoying for this person because the branch you originally forked doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it kind of exists, but it's not the same state anymore. So he's gonna be super annoyed, because the only solution for him is usually to wait for you to merge your branches to master. And then if he doesn't have any merge conflict, it's cool for him, but it might be not, because the problem is like, as I was saying, you have merge conflicts. So there is somewhere you're going to edit the previous content of your commit. So it means you're gonna change something. And let's say this person has like forked before this merge conflict, it will have to solve this merge conflict as well, because it might have like some impact on this code base as well. So yeah, so that's potentially dangerous. So you get to be very careful when you use that, like you're alone. So usually what I've seen so far is like a process in different companies is you are alone on your branch and you do your own changes, so it's not impacting anyone else. But some companies are like forking in like multiple directions, so it's nice, but you have to be careful when rebasing. So when you have a situation, my advice is like to do a simple merge, like that is their solution. Yeah. Does that make sense?
In terms of what you would have to do editing-wise, you'd have to do the same amount of editing whether you did a merge or a rebase.
That's correct, but you save one commit basically. You save the merge commit. You don't want to commit again. You just want to change slightly what you did to integrate the changes. We're gonna do like an iterative example, and I actually need someone to like create a conflict, because well, I can create a conflict with myself. But it's not gonna be very funny. But yeah, we're gonna talk. Oh, I'm gonna do an example like in a few minutes. Because usually, let's say, for example, from my experience, like I work like in what we name the pickup experience team. So the pickup is like everything before you get into the car. So you have other people working on payment, let's say they work on what we name the core experience. So it's like in ride and after ride. People working on like the signing up process, this kind of stuff. So usually we don't work on the same files. Like I work on like either if you pre-ride, like when you're doing pickup and you drop off. So it's not related to other parts of the application. So I know I'm not impacting anyone else, and I know if that. So to get back to the question, yeah, I know if I have a conflict, it will be a small conflict. Sometimes it's not, and I should not have done a rebase, but by default, I'm feeling lucky and I'm trying to rebase. Maybe it's not the best practice, but it's also nice because let's say you have done like multiple commits, you can like fix the different merge conflict one by one. Whereas when you do a merge conflict, you get to fix all the conflicts at the same time. That's kind of annoying. I mean, it would be like a big, let's say it impacts like maybe 5, 6 files, you would have everything in one file, whereas mine would like be transparent. It's like smoother, to use a fancy word. So to do that, you have two commands. I will talk about the first one a little bit later for the last part of the class. But so basically to rebase, what you do is like you go on the a commit you want to start rebasing from. So usually what I would do is like rebase master. So we're gonna do a quick example because it might be like kind of confusing right now. So I'm gonna create a repo for the Git rebase and yep. All right. So, oops, it's what was on the class. All right. So I'm gonna paste what my GitHub login Git rebase, and I'm going to. So I invite you to fork the repo, and we're gonna try to. No. Okay. It's kind of small. Let's see. And I invite you. Does it work? I don't. Ah, there we go. Okay. Cool. Usually I duplicate my screen. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do is like I'm going to open this file, do a change, and I invite you to do the same, like do changes. Let's say Git rebase by Adrian. I invite you to do like some cool, nice morning. To do some awesome. It's happening during my class. Sorry for that. Okay, well. Okay, so I just edited the first line. Let's say I'm going to do some blah blah over there. Blah blah. There we go. And so here, I'm going to where go. Right. Just push. I invite you to pull this and try to like edit whatever the first line or but yeah, try to put some stuff in my file. Like either you edit the first one. Hold on, we're gonna do that. Yeah, try to all edit your file, but try to create your own branch. We're gonna do that this way. Try to create your own branch because if you all push on master, you're gonna create a conflict, and you will be the one solving the conflict. So I want to be the one solving the conflict. So just try to whatever, just change the title, put your name.
So we should create our own branch, right?
Yeah, so okay, so to create your own branch, for creating your own branch, my shortcut usually is git checkout -p, my branch. So create your own branch, and what? Okay, I know what we're gonna do. So just add your name to the title. That would be easy, and push it onto my repo. I think you can. Just trying to. Okay, cool. Thank you for coming. We'll send you the slides through email. They will be posted on the website. What's up? No, on the Rails school.
And you want us to merge it with your master and then push it, or what do you want?
No, just like create your own branch. Just push your own branch.
What's the command to push it?
Oh, sorry.
Git push origin and then my branch name?
Yeah, exactly. You have the example on the screen right now.
But we don't have permission.
Yeah, it's what I was trying to solve. Sorry for that. Shit. Did you fork or did you just clone my repo?
I just created my own branch and then edited the README file.
Okay.
Why didn't you do it?
Okay, could you just paste your, if you visit the page of the class of tonight, could you just like copy and paste your GitHub login, and I will just like grant you the access for the repo.
Oh,
Like you have a whiteboard, and you can like paste some stuff there.
so just my Git name?
The Git username, yeah.
There it is.
That's a cool. It's a cool username.
Thanks. Just made it.
All right. Awesome. So now you should have a push access, and you can push your own branch.
Still wasn't, still not.
It might send you. You get to maybe to accept an invitation first, or
Say again?
you might have to accept an invitation first. Like if you check your emails.
Oh, email?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one. Cool. I will send you an invitation. Let me know if it works.
Yeah, here.
Cool. Awesome. I see some branches coming.
And now it's going to.
There we go. So how many branches do I have? 4 branches. Awesome. So let me gonna start with. All right. So pull it fast. Pushing to master. So first one, of course, blah blah with Alex. Well, this one is like creating mesh complex. So it's not a big deal. It's just merge. So what I was saying before is like here we have a good example of the process. So I just open a branch. I invite you to review your changes. You know, when you like ready to submit, you might want to play with that. Usually in companies, some of them they might want the labels, not mandatory everywhere. Usually, if you like talk about process, usually you might have like a ticket management system where you have tickets where there are either bugs of new features, as they have like an ID and you track them. It's easier for like the history in the future. Usually, you of course assign one of your fellow and milestones is like so when you start versioning, it's really important, for example, for mobile applications, and we use it to know in what version the feature of the fix will be available to as a reminder. And also we have like, let's say we have at least talking about the process, like you have another team in charge of like managing what we name the client release, because it's we don't send you a new Lyft application every day. There is a process for that. So they track like what's the current stage of the mobile application. So okay, so here I'm gonna just like not wait for any opinion, and I'm just gonna merge. Alright, usually what I advise you is like to delay the branch as soon as it's merged, like not keeping like branches, because your repo will be a mess very soon. And GitHub is cool because they allow you to restore the branch. It's pretty nice. All right, next branch. I hope I'm gonna have a conflict. New pull request. Yes, conflict. All right, so I have a conflict. Usually I still open the PR, and I see like here, yeah, Aaron is messing with something we did. So what we do usually is like, yeah, so you have a merge conflict. So let's say I move back to my terminal. So what I would do is like, I think I'm on master. So okay, so if you need to take some notes, that's the moment. So the rebase process, you get to be very careful of what you're doing. So first, you go onto the branch, the source branch, not the dev branch. Like source branch would be here master. Be sure you have the latest version of master, because if you don't have the latest version, your rebase might be not very effective, or might be actually annoying because you might fix like merge config that don't exist anymore. So be sure you have the latest version. For example, it wasn't the case for me. Then git checkout, and I can remember the name of the branch. That.
You have to check out the origin earnings rebate.
Thank you. Oops. I mean, maybe to pull it first. That's why. That's right. I don't know. Maybe I did a typo though. What the? Oh, why am I in the middle of the rebase? Oh. I just don't know what I did. Sorry for that. Let me check the status. Cool, we're actually in the middle of a rebase, so it's not really what I wanted to do, but here we are, I guess. Why am I rebasing master? Okay, let me just, I want to start from scratch, and I'm doing crazy stuff. Sorry for that, give me a minute. So for example, I'm in the middle of the rebase, so we can observe right now I don't want to do the rebase anymore, so there is a command. You can see over there, where's my mouse? You can see over there, there is, the lighting doesn't work very well, but you can see, yeah, well, the cursor doesn't work very well. If I show you, over there you can see what's happening, so you are in the Git rebase right now, and it's not what I want to do, but basically Git is telling you right now, you have a conflict, fix it. As soon as it's fixed, type git rebase continue. If you don't see any conflict, which will be very intriguing, you can skip and tell Git, I know what I'm doing. There is no conflict. Keep going. And maybe it's telling you also, like, if you don't know what you're doing, you can always report the operation, or if you change your mind or anything like that. Okay.
Now, if I do a git status, it's telling me that my master is up to date with origin master, but clearly it's not. Should I be doing a pull from master, from origin?
Yeah. Okay, give me just a minute. Let's check. Just want to check where I am right now. Oops. That was a long day. Okay, I'm not master. Okay. Let me check again. Yeah. Cool. All right. So get status. Get node. Don't have anything there. Okay. Well, since I'm up to date, what the lights is coming? It was a bit me. Just lost in the history.
Looks like it's right, the updated read command.
That yours? For me, it's
To a git log.
It says the author's name.
Yeah, but I don't see the. Oh no, I'm stupid. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, sorry for that. I was looking for the merge commit, but it's not here yet. So we have So let's start from scratch again. So you on master, you pull first. Be sure master is up to date. Then you go on your dev branch. It's a shortcut, by the way, if you don't know it. Git checkout dash, move back to the previous reference you had. So here now, you start your rebase. Git rebase master in our situation. I want to rebase my branch from what's on master. You start, and of course, we're going to have a merge conflict. Otherwise, it wouldn't be funny. But of course, you're going to run a Git rebase on the branch that doesn't have merge conflicts, and you will just see it will apply like each commit one per one, and it will tell you like the operation is over. So here you can say like he's trying to apply. So just to talk about the log, he's trying to apply the first commit on the branch. So it's not like what I was saying before. It's like rewinding the head and start like on the head of master and start applying the different commits of your dev branch one per one. And here, well, we have only one, and it's like trying to apply it and say like, okay, there's a conflict, I don't know how to solve it, fix it, and as soon as you fix, you can keep going. So in our situation, if we look at the README file, and I lost my cursor again, so it's the same kind of file than the merge. When you're doing merge config with merge, so I don't know what we want to keep, but let's say we want to keep everything. So you fix merge conflict with that. You can do whatever you want, like merge conflict, like, oh no, I don't want the, actually the blah is the latest version, and we want to keep mining with Aaron. And yeah, let's remove the training line. Okay, sounds cool. I'm over with solving my merge conflict. So I move back here. So if I look at the Git status, I should see a conflict on README. So what I do is like I add the different, well, I use the add command to flag my different conflict as a result. And as soon as I'm done, if I tab Git status again, I should see that now I'm ready for pursuing my commit. So now what I was saying is like a rebase, there is no new commit, so you don't commit anything at that moment. Don't do that. If you do that, just like abort the rebase in case you commit. So when you're rebasing, no commit at all. When you're done with solving here the first merge conflict and the last one, you type git rebase continue to indicate to Git like you're ready to move on, and you will start applying the latest commit again, and we're just done. So you don't have any commit just after that, so it's over. And so now if you look at it, you change history. It will say that you branch and the origin one have diverged. So to finish the process, you push force the current branch. You need the force option because you change the history, and Git will not be capable of figuring out which one you should keep. And so to indicate that you want to keep yours because you're confident in your changes, you just Git push force. And
Before you do that,
yeah,
before you do that, don't you want to, what are you actually pushing? Don't you want to push all of this to master?
yeah.
But you're in branch rebase.
Well, I don't.
So if you force the push now, it will go to the branch, Aaron's branch.
Yeah. So, well, I want to merge into master, but what I wanted to do first is like fixing the merge conflict. So right now I'm still working on the dev branch. I've changed the history of the dev branch by rebasing. So what I want to do now is pushing this latest version on the repo. And if I open, like right now, if I look at my PR, there's a merge conflict. But as soon as I push, as I change the history and already fix the conflict, I will be capable of merging this branch. My final goal is to merge this branch errors rebase into master. So here I'm just.
So you're going to do the merge on GitHub, not on your computer.
Well, yeah, but technically, no, I can do that on my laptop if I want to. Like they will. I mean, I always can do that. They will. If I do that right now on my laptop, they will know. They will. I will not have any merge conflict. Does that make sense? I don't want to push master right now. Master hasn't been changed at all. I just changed this branch. This branch has changed a lot. Like I just rewrote history on this branch. That makes sense?
Yeah, I just thought that you were going to merge it onto your master on your desktop, then your laptop, and then push that master.
No, not yet. And it will be on GitHub, as you mentioned. So the last step is after you're done, you push force, and you are force update. And if I move back now, well, GitHub has a kind of well, it's just a bug. Don't be worried. There's still one commit. Just GitHub doesn't handle the rebase in a graceful way. So now, if you look at it, you change the original commit. Like if someone like you haven't pulled the list changes, but if you look at it, like right now, the content is different on your laptop because I changed and I already fixed the merge conflict. So, and now, of course, as I solve the merge conflict, this branch is ready to be merged. Okay.
Well, except you really screwed Aaron because his version of this branch is completely
Yeah.
different from yours.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why if you'd have done this merge on your computer and then pushed it to master, it would have avoided difficulties. for him.
Exactly. That's what I said. It's a dangerous thing, and it's only to use when you are like only the only one working on this branch. Usually, it's my general advice, because it can like mess up with other people. Let's say Aaron right now do something else on the README. Like if you try to push, you will have like like another conflict. You will have say something like the branch of like diverge. Like what he has on the repo doesn't correspond at all with what he has locally. So Aaron will like just like show up at my desk and be like, what the heck, dude? To be polite. And so just be careful when you're using this method and working with someone else, because it will mess up the history and like the branch. It's not completely lost. Nothing is lost for sure, but it will be really annoying. And well, I can't remember, but it's always possible to revert a full rebase. What I was saying before is like you can abort a rebase and everything will be rewinded, but also Git keep somewhere a track of what happened, like when you change all the changes, and there is a command I can't remember exactly to just revert what you did. Like it's using git reset and some flag of the reset command. And so now I can merge, and I'm happy. Everything's cool. And I can judge the branch, and I'm pretty sure if I open the third one now, I have the merge conflict. Yeah, but we're gonna keep this one for just after because I want to talk about something else. So is that okay for git rebase? Does it make sense how to use it? So here there was only one commit, but if I'm like doing multiple commits, it will be, as I mentioned before, like apply one by one. And that might be raising another issue, and we're gonna talk about it just right now. And let me check. I lost my cursor. So we're talking about rebasing, and now we're going to talk about squashing. Have you heard about squashing before?
Isn't that just eliminate the commits in between and just?
Yeah, squashing is like basically mashing up multiple commits into a single one, or like a subset of it into a single one. So why would you like to do a squashing? Like why would you? Because basically, if you merge multiple commits into a single one, you're losing different like states. I mean, version of your history. So why would you do that? So multiple reasons. For a massive project, it's a common technique, because the problem is like, let's say you work on the Git, for example, Git. If you look at the repo right now, they might have like 20,000 commits. So the history is getting bigger and bigger. And let's say you have people who commit, just like every so often, but you have people that commit every time they just edit like a portion of the file, and their PR might be like up to like 50 commits, but they have like just changed like 3 files. So usually what you do is like, let's say, for example, what we do at Lyft, it's like as soon as you merge a branch, it's actually squashing, and that's why I wanted to keep the other PR before merging, because GitHub from now on offer you this feature to merge and squash it in the same time. I don't know if you have seen that. It's on the merge button. So basically, you use that in big project because you assume like you will either, if you need to revert some changes, it will be like all the changes. Like you just, okay, we don't want this feature anymore, so we're gonna get rid of it, and you just revert the single commit doing all the feature. So that's a better way to have a clean history, because otherwise you will end up with a big repo with massive history, and also the repo is getting bigger and bigger locally because you're tracking like all all these different commits. So it's really nice for a massive project. But also, as we're talking about rebasing, it's something, for example, I use personally when I'm rebasing a long sequence of commits. So a common example is like, let's say I work on a kind of tricky feature or like a kind of big refactor in the application. What's happening is like, I'm not gonna ask all my coworkers to like just don't do anything anymore. I'm refactoring like some classes, and I'm not gonna like freeze everyone work. So usually they keep working, and I'm gathering the merge conflicts. And also, let's say it's a long sequence of commits, so maybe sometimes I introduce a change in a class, and then in another commit, I just revert this change because I don't need it anymore. But I do it in a proper way, and like I create a commit reverting previous change. And so if I rebase, what's gonna happen, let's say someone edited this class in master, what's gonna happen is like I will have like basically 2 merge conflicts to solve, and maybe actually there's no merge conflict anymore. But the problem with rebasing, it's not like going from the to the end at the beginning of the rebasing. You will apply the commits one by one from top to bottom. So let's say we both edited the class A, and I eventually remove it later. I will, let's say, when I'm rebasing, I will first solve the merge conflict, then keep rebasing, and then hit a new conflict because I reverted something, and Git is not smart enough. I mean, it's actually smart, but they don't want to do like magic changing your code. So usually they just like throw you a merge, and so you will have this problem of like fixing the merge conflict twice, maybe, whereas maybe it wasn't like needed at all. So usually it's what I do when I know like Avalon sequence, I see sorry, like merge conflicts happening. What I do is just squash all my commits and do a big commit, and I prefer like solving this way because I know eventually when I'm going to merge, it will be squashed again. So I'm not really taking care that much about the history. And also usually when I do that, I'm like at the end. I know like my feature, my refactor is almost there. Like I'm just waiting for the final review from my peer, just like fixing like the different comments going up. So I know I will not like revert major features. I don't need the history of my local changes anymore. So I can allow myself to do squash. And it's actually doing the squash is actually a rebasing. That's pretty funny. So it's a rebasing with the command that talked about quickly before. It's with the dash not AI for interactive. So basically, we'll see like the list of comments, and Git offer you like multiple like comments to like either squash them or like pick them. It's like basically you can like just like remove some commits from the history. You're like, I don't want these commits anymore at all. So I'm gonna try to show you an example. Oh, I know what I can do. So let's say move back to my repo. So I just wanted to, well, we can do a rebase again. All right. So if I open up here, so basically the squash new feature from GitHub is over there. Let me just update and try to do the rebase again. No, not on the right branch anymore. Okay, we check. Still on the right one. So, what's the name of the other branch again? Joe. All right. Key. So I rebase. We're gonna have a merge conflict again. So I'm just bang. Joe is annoying. That's the same problem I did. And okay. There we are. Just keeping everything. Well, if right now I actually try to type a git rebase continue, it will not work because conflict will, Git will tell me like you haven't solved the merge conflict because it didn't call the git add command. So that's the first thing I have to do. And then I can continue rebase. I'm done. As soon as I'm done, I push force onto the remote origin. I'm done. And if I move back, of course, the PR has been updated. Cool. So the squash is over there, so it's like asking you if you want to just merge into basically keeping the history of your looking branch, or if you want to merge it into a big commit. So well, here it's not very useful because we have, of course, one commit, but I can do it anyway. Squash and merge. Nope, not that. Squash and merge. Yeah. All right. And I'm pretty sure, so if I look at the history, so I changed the content of the commit. So if I look now at the history, it should be just yeah or not. Well, I don't know where the yeah went. Oh, the yeah just went into the description. On GitHub, it doesn't change the content of the commit. Okay. So well, right now I'm here, and so what I want to do is like, what I'm trying to achieve right now is a big squash of like all the commits we have in this history so far. So basically, I'm a kind of like a jerk, and I don't care about your changes anymore, and I will squash and appropriate all your changes into just my initial commit, and then pretend you didn't work. That would be what's gonna happen. So if I go back over there, pulling the latest changes, of course. All right, here we go. My opening back. All right, so well, it's a little bit cropped, but what's happening? Yeah. I have no idea what the first letter is.
Would you have to specify what the rebase is using?
Oops. Yeah, I just forget to specify what I wanted to squash. That's why it's not working. All right. Let me just. I don't know what I rebase it, but I rebase nothing actually. Don't even know what happened, but okay. I just well, it's rebase, of course, but I need to specify what I want to rebase. Didn't rebase anything right now, so that was a success, but didn't do anything. So here, for example, I want to rebase. Let's say when did you start to do changes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm gonna merge the latest 6 commits. No. Yep. Thank you. There we are. I think it's cool.
Would you have to specify two?
No.
Rebase something into something? You have to specify a span?
It should be, no, it should be okay. What I'm doing, nice. All right, give me a second. Maybe I understand it.
If you have a total of 6, then the 5 might be the maximum.
Let's say 3. All right, I don't know what happened. I thought we had more than 6 commits in there. We had like 7 commits if I got it right, but okay. I don't know what happened. So we can see 6A, which is this one. Which is one? C5. Where? Oh, it doesn't come to move. Okay. Okay, I understand what happened. It's just because merge comments. Okay. So right now I'm trying to. The history here is not very clear. Okay, so it's actually you get to ignore here. You get to ignore the merge commits. So I'm actually trying to squash this one, that one, and this one. So it's still the same. I can hide what it did. So if we move back to the terminal, like right now, the current like Git is not doing anything. The current set is like I'm just picking. It's like just I use the commits. And the command we're interested in right now is like the squash one. And so it's you got to be careful. It's not from bottom to top, from the latest to the earliest. It's like the opposite way. 6A, if we look at our history of there, she said this one. So this one is the first line of my terminal right now. Then I have this one and the 53 at the end. So what I want to do is squash is merging into the previous commit. So I want to keep 6A and I want to squash 53 and C5 into 6A. Makes sense? So for that, okay, so here it works. Okay. It's really annoying. It's like truncated. Can't see anything. All right, squash. Here we are. So we just do that, and then I save my changes. So by the way, if you think like, oh, I want to change the content of the first commit, the commit message, I mean, not the content, but just the message, Git is going to ignore the change. And just after I'm done with that, it will ask me if I want to rename the commit messages. It will actually, when I'm doing the squash, it will actually list me the different commit messages to help me figure out what I want to do for the squash. So here, if I say, there we go. So now it's like asking me for a commit message. So I can see the different one. And what I can do is like, let's say I don't want this one. I use just the comment annotation. I don't want this one. I just want to keep I don't see this. I don't know what's this one. This is. I think this one is not. Oh yeah, that's the description. Okay, sorry, that was the commit and then the description. Yeah, what is the description? I'm actually going to use this yeah as the new commit message for my splash.
Do you have to have that as a first line?
No, if I use the pound, it's a comment. Like right now, it's what Git is telling me. Like the Git message can be whatever. Like I can uncomment all this, and it will be my big commit message. Git is saying me like any line without a pound will be used into commit message. So right now they are all like prefixed with a pound.
No, I understand that part. That'll be in the good message, but it's not the first line, if it's followed by a blank line, has special meaning for other tools, but it's irrelevant for this. That's okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just best practice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, to be sure here, that's a good point. I can. Is that, oh, you want me to, I can remove all the lines, or like just comment them. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm not using Vime at all, so I don't know the crazy shortcuts. All right, so let's say bring a load and all right. So now if I look at the Git status, I have to push, of course, but if I look at the log, that would be a real word because, yep, just lost my commits and merge them into a single one. So let's say I'm gonna keep this one open, and let me maybe take a screenshot because I know GitHub is using some sockets, so they might refresh that before I'm done. So let me take a screenshot of that. Go. And now push. I don't know if I need a force. I don't think so. Well, I need a force. Okay, so when you squash, you need a force. All right, and if I move back over there, Cool. I didn't use it, so let me. There we are. So you can see what happened. I lost these different commits, and they have been merged into a single one. Also, GitHub, when you see like just as we were talking about it, when you see this small thing over there, like you see two others. You have the main one, which is the main committer, and then you have a small one. It's because I use this Git rebase, and GitHub is denoting like someone modified the history. So for example, here I squash them into Alex commit. So he is the original author of the commit. So GitHub is like, hey, he's still the original author, but Adrian messed up with the history. So it's just like showing still Alex is the main one, but showing with my avatar over there to inform, like to display the better way that someone changed the history. And it's the same, like every time you do a rebase, you can see it. So for example, you can see rebase there. The same way, I changed someone else's commit. It just, yeah, just explaining you why you see this second avatar. And yeah, so that was a squash. Merge multiple commits in the same commit. Yeah.
But I would have thought, this surprises me, because I would have thought that when you squash, you just get rid of commits before the final commit.
No, so that's the problem with Git squash. Git squash is not creating a new commit, gathering all the other one. It's like basically gathering all the commits into a form one. So what I did with Git squash, I'm like picking this one, keeping this one, and merging these changes up above into this one.
So it's moving all the things that you've already done after my commit into my commit.
Yeah. So let's say I work on the feature, that was the original, like the first commit of my dev branch, and say this were like on the, let's suppose
so in essence, they're giving the unfair credit for a lot of work that other people are doing.
Yeah. You're changing history. You got to be careful. But it's what usually we have like tools for that. Some, in some startups they have tools for like automatically splashing the commits and all that stuff. And as I mentioned before, we usually do that when you're like alone on the branch. But as I mentioned before, I told you, like you can still see you were not alone. Like this one, if you look at this commit, I don't know what GitHub is gonna display, but we can see, well, you still be author, yeah, but you can see like you were not alone. I mean, alone. That's a word, but you are the original author of the commit, but I changed some stuff on. Well, I changed a lot of stuff. But if you don't like my stuff, you can always if you don't like me, you have always this tool, and it's the worst thing ever. It's actually blaming someone else, so you can change the original author of that commit. Well, you need to be master on the, an administrator on the repo, but you can blame someone else for what you did, and by typing, a name and an email address, and the commit, of course, and now you just, what you're showing is like to change the author of the commit. So if you want to mess with your coworkers, and or you introduce like a bug, that can be fun. Or if you think like your coworkers have a nice sense of humor, you can play with them. Yeah, so that's all for tonight. Do you have any question about what we talked about? Branching, rebating, squashing? Did you understand the pros and cons of like doing that?
So typically, if you have a merge conflict, you suggest doing a manual fix and then merge over a rebase for what we talked about in terms of you can mess up other people's branches, or yeah, I guess
it depends on like how you work. Like if you know you're alone, and if you know it's gonna be a small merge, like if you basically, when I have like, let's say I open GitHub and I see I have a merge conflict in my branch, usually I will go into master and look at the history and observe like what my coworker did for creating this merge conflict. And usually I'm like, oh, it's just because it changed the name or renamed one of the class up there, it changed it. So I'm like, it's not a big deal. But if I see it did more than that, like you remove like 300 lines into the code base, I think it's worth it to do like a typical merge. It's just a matter of like, you have different ways to reach the same objective. You just what you prefer. Just Git rebasing is not like you're rewriting a history, and sometimes you don't have any trace of what you're doing. Like what we saw is like right now, if we look at the squash, which is particle case of rebasing, as mentioned before. Technically, if I'm ZTO right now and I know who did the mess, I would see Alex. Well, I will still see my name showing up somewhere, but I will see Alex first.
The rule of thumb is never do one of these things on a repository that somebody else might have cloned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's why I was quibbling earlier with, in my view, he should have done the merges on his own computer and then pushed them to GitHub. Because on GitHub, anybody could have downloaded them and then it would have really screwed them up. Whereas if he'd done this on his own machine and then merged it with master on GitHub, then it wouldn't have ever bothered anybody else. And this is all theoretical. In this case, it's, nobody cares anyway.
Right, and good example show whatnot.
I mean, what not to do? I actually do that. It's a matter of taste. Like, it's what I'm saying is like when I do, because I'm alone. I know I'm alone. I'm not impacting anyone.
Right.
If you know you're not alone, don't do it. It's just because I think it's easier like to fix the merge conflict because you do that step by step instead of having like a big merge conflict.
Well, that's a very useful thing.
Yeah, and also you can always skip or abort. What's tricky with when you like typing the git merge command, because usually if you want to abort, I think you get to reset or like check out. I mean, it's kind of like annoying.
But is it not true that in the one example you picked is that you put something into your code and then you take it out of your code? Under those circumstances, the merge would be better because it's less editing on the merges, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was so in this situation, I can actually do a git merge as well, because the git merge will take, of course, the latest commit of my branch. But if I want to use the rebase, the solution in this situation is to squash what I was saying, squash first, to basically not do all these like intermediate steps in the history. And yeah. That you have multiple processes. It depends on companies. Like some of them don't want you to do rebase at all.
So squash is really a form of rebasing.
It's a rebase. Like as I mentioned before, it's like you.
There's no such command as squash. It's really a version of rebase.
Yeah, but it's just like the terminology is like they said you squash commits. It's basically you do the. If I show the slides again, you do the git rebase -i to squash your commits. Like you will like. You specify how many commits you want to merge, and like this list of commits will show up, and you just pick. Or you can actually do more than that. Like it will not be squashing anymore, but you can be like, I don't want this commit at all anymore, and just like get rid of it. It's just a different way, to solve the merge conflicts. And also, I do that because it will sometimes maybe help me to reduce the amount of changes I have to do for merge conflict. Because let's say if I do that earlier, it might like save me some time for later. Like when I do a big, when I merge master into my dev branch to like solve the merge conflict, I might have gather like a bunch of data because it's always the same. Whereas if I do that like earlier, like on an earlier commit, and I fix the merge conflict over there first, like it's not gonna happen again. Awesome. Any other question? Anything else you want to chat about?
So at Lyft, do you have best practices that you guys use on your team? Say you have multiple developers working on, say the same file, the same repo, as how you handle merge conflicts, or do you divvy it up so that no one's working on the same individual files at the same time? Maybe in the same repo, but not the same file.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is like you plan technique for. I mean, like you plan some stuff in advance. You know what people are working on. What I was saying before is like, for example, the organization of teams. We're not working on the same part of the application, so usually we don't mess up with each other. But some of like, let's say we have a main team which is working on like maybe they update like a full like a whole framework. So they move it to like the 1.0 version to 2.0, so that might change, you know, like the way you use the framework, so that might impact everything. But that is pretty infrequent, just like in case of big updates. But usually, yeah, it's just like you split the work and you just deal with the merge conflict. I guess it's like something happening a lot when you're a software engineer, because like sometimes it's very small, sometimes it's bigger, and it's actually interesting to merge and like observe like what's happening, like because sometimes let's say when I have a merge conflict, I realize like someone removed a feature. I mean, or like let's say some methods in the code because he thought it was not used anymore. Whereas, for example, in my branch, I was using them, so I needed to steal them. So I talked like it's like I can like talk to you and be like, hey, you did like what you did was not good at all, and you know we can point out mistakes like that. But you still have a history, so you can revert some stuff, anything like that. I think the best technique is you cannot ask people to not work on the file. So first, the best thing is of course to split as much as possible your code base into multiple files, like not having like big classes doing a lot of stuff, because let's say you have a 3,000 line class, it's pretty cheating because you're gonna have a bunch of merge conflicts. And then if you have a bunch of engineers, try to split them into different buckets, like try to organize them in a way they are like doing work in their kind of own sandbox. That would be my advice. But there is no magic way. So.
Yeah.
Well, I try to do small classes first. Like, in some project, like I opened some classes and they were about, I saw like 3,000 line classes before, and I'm like, it's gonna be tough to work on that, because first it's like really massive, really annoying to work on that, and then you have merge conflicts. Anything else? Good.
Do you have just a single repo for the Lyft app, and then just lots of branches, or do you actually have different repos?
Yeah. So let's say for the Android application, we have only one repo for the application itself. But let's say we have some tests for like testing the UI, and there will be a sub repo. So they will be in different repo and linked into the main one, for example. To let's say people working on this is like the QA team and working their own like functional testing. Like if you click on this button, this pop-up should show up. They are like in a sub repo, so they are not impacting our work. But technically, if you like fork the repo, you will see like different repos. The Android application itself, it's only in one big repo. That's why, for example, what I was saying is like we squash, because at the end of the day we have a bunch of commits, and it's annoying. For example, I'm someone who commits a lot when I'm working, because I want to be like first it helps for code review, in my opinion, because like my coworker can like look at what I did. Like first I wrote the features, then the unit testing, and then I don't know, did some minor changes. So you can like first review just the feature itself, and then the unit testing, this kind of stuff. And also, let's say if I want to revert one of my changes, I can easily browse the history of what I did. Just depends on the way you like working.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to send you the slide, and there will be resource somewhere. There will be the link will be posted here on top of the email I'm gonna send. It will be posted the whiteboard.
Just on the page there, I just added a link to my. It was pointed out to me by somebody in the trade, so to speak.
Cool. Take a look. Thanks.
Oh, it's good. Thank you very much for taking the time and the trouble.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Where it is. So yeah, and next week, so I'm gonna teach because I'm replacing one of my fellow, and it would be about the coding interview, like what you should prepare. It's on the website. It will be advice and recommendations for what you should work on for preparing your code interview, or like just if you want to get software engineering position in a new startup or whatever. Some tips from my past experience.
Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you for coming.
That's been my frustration, because if I just do everything by myself, there's no opportunity to make use of these other features that you're talking about now. That's why I was interested in more advanced costs, because none of this is relevant if you're working by yourself.
Yeah, you don't have merge conflict.
Squashing can be relevant.
Yeah, you don't have merge conflict, so it's I know what you mean. I'm actually not the best one. Like I'm not like an expert of Git. Like one of the teacher named Gabe is like better in this field than I am.